Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Jekyll.
Ladies and
Cut.
gentlemen.
Whatever.
Do it again.
Cut.
We're live.
Sign off.
Take 6.
We are live.
Welcome to the Hands On Podcast. This is our 15th episode.
14th.
Episode.
God damn it. You can't even
Are
count
you sure
either.
about that?
I
Can't
labeled
speak
it-
or
I
count.
labeled it our
Or-
14th.
It doesn't mean it's right.
It doesn't mean it's right. Because we did our 13th last Friday,
Friday, yeah.
and Monday we did 14th.
This is our 14th take 2. A.K.A. 15th.
Yeah, 15th. So
This is part B.
Part B.
part B of number 14. We spoke about it, in the last episode, and I got the man to my right here, Sean Santella, our good training partner, and the new, again, cage jury flyweight champion. So thanks for joining us, Sean.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
Sean's got a mug full of SoCone cherries today, so
Yes.
he's gonna loosen up, and Pat's probably gonna tell a creepy story about his pee hole.
And lava.
About my peel, just to be clear. I don't have any creepy stories about
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
The comma.
We still have an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not sell ourselves short.
So big win, being in the corner, I thought you performed spectacularly. Obviously hypercritically, you could see one or two things from my point of view, but you dominated the fight, and that's what we like to see. And went out and had a fun fight.
Yeah, still a work in progress. I got to show a little more of my stand-up, which I haven't been able to do because I didn't really have any for 20 fights in my career. So it's starting to come around. I'm starting to figure out this punch-kick thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. Definitely a fun fight for me. Felt comfortable. Felt like I could open up and went out there and got the finish, which I expected to do eventually. Mm-hmm. And like you said, I thought it was a dominating performance everywhere. And, hopefully bigger things in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
He was pretty confident in his stand-up going in. I listened to a couple interviews, and he said that you couldn't handle his stand-up and that he had a huge advantage. So it's pretty cool to go in there and dominate that aspect of it.
Yeah, he said he was going to touch my chin. I told him to go for my nose because my nose is bigger. Instead, he got me in my eye. But yeah, he I guess he's more of a stand-up fighter, and that's where his confidence was. And I think it really broke him when I started winning the stand-up battle, and I think that really threw him off because he expected me to just come out, shoot, and just wrestle him. And I really didn't take my first shot until like the last 15 seconds of the round, And then same thing, second round came out, worked more of a stand-up, and then took the fight down again and pretty much dominated. So I think it definitely took him out of his game plan right off the bat and kind of broke him in that first round.
Yeah. Definitely, I don't think he was it's not even that he wasn't prepared, it's that he just didn't have anything for you when he hit the mat. Not really even any attempts. It was almost like that kind of like shock that you get there, even though he shouldn't have been shocked that he got put on his back. He still didn't really try to do anything.
Yeah, even when I had like back mount, he didn't even try to escape. He was more about survival. So I think his game plan going in was, all right, let me try to win the stand-up exchange. If I do get taken down, let me just survive because the beginning of every round starts on the feet, and that's going to be the game plan is just trying to take him out in the beginning, try to take me out in the beginning of the round and win the stand-up and hopefully catch me coming in. And, it kind of backfired because I felt like I beat him up pretty bad even from that back position where it's hard to land effective strikes. And I was able to really cut him open with some elbows and pretty much just kind of take the heart out of him, I felt. And, you would have figured everybody that fights me is usually working on staying off the mat and wrestling and getting
Getting
back,
back
up
up, yeah.
to their feet. And he made a lot of technical mistakes. And, I'm just glad I was able to really capitalize on it. But, I mean, I honestly felt like that's how the fight was going to go. Even that morning when we went out to breakfast, I told Coach Mike and Laborio, I said, I really expect to come out there and dominate because I think that the kid's got a lot of hype behind him, but I just don't feel like he's on my level. And if I don't get a finish, I'll be disappointed because I expect to go out there and kind of walk through him. So I don't know I don't know if that's a great mindset to have, but that's where I felt mentally. I just didn't feel like he was on my level. So I'm just glad I was able to go out there and perform.
When you look at Lozano's wins, too, he's not a slouch on the ground. I mean, of his 8 wins, 4 of them are by submission. He only has 1 KO. So he's got a decent ground game.
Yeah, it's very unorthodox. He's got 2 submissions by, inverted triangle. And one of them, I believe, was actually in Bellator. So it's an awkward position to hit from bottom side, which, I obviously knew, and I prepared for it. But, I really wasn't worried about anything he was going to offer on the ground. So, I just think I'm on a different level jiu-jitsu-wise than him and pretty much everybody else in my weight. In the UFC, locally, I feel like everybody just has a basic jiu-jitsu game, if any. And I don't know, I just feel like my jiu-jitsu for MMA is just a lot better than a lot of these guys. With my flexibility and my unorthodox submissions and my scrambling, I just feel like I'm a nightmare for anybody. So anybody that tries to play on the ground with me is just, kind of playing with fire.
I've seen you put the beef in some bad positions. I actually enjoy it. I really,
I think we have a picture.
really enjoy.
I think we have a nice picture.
We do. There is a nice picture floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's on the interwebs. Of you
in a
Twister.
Yeah, Twister.
Yeah.
And me posing.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's a black belt. I outweigh him by 120 pounds. It doesn't matter.
He used to only be 100 pounds. Now it's
Yeah.
120. Next podcast
It
will be 140.
used to be only
Like 60.
Yeah.
60
Well, even
pounds.
less than that when it was Swole Rock.
Yeah,
It
Swole
was like-
Rock.
Still rocking
It was
out.
like
I was hanging out with
40.
Dr. Tom.
Yeah, it was 40 pounds.
It's on my strength and conditioning program, Dr.
Yeah.
Tom special.
He called me sleeping. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was
Dr.
literally
Tom did or I
sleeping.
did?
No.
I heard Dr. Tom caught you sleeping too.
Fuck you, Shorty.
He's been bragging about it.
I know. He
It's
texts
all
me.
over
he
the Pure
texts me.
website.
Texts me all the time. How's your arm, buddy? Fuck you, Dr. Tom.
Everybody's got that one, that one submission that they're embarrassed about.
I am not embarrassed by that one. He's a black belt. He is a black belt. A black belt.
What is Dr. Tom?
He is Dr. Tom.
Was he a black belt when he did it?
Submitted me?
Yeah. I guess you can get one, right?
Yeah.
It's a gift. Black belt gift. Here you go.
No, he got me. There was no. I'm not. There was no gift to that one. I screamed and smacked him in the face. Damn! No, he got me.
I think Dr. Tom is probably the guy that we've been around the most, in our MMA careers,
Yeah.
MMA lives. Because he came when we back when we used to train at Planet Jiu-Jitsu. I think we'd only been training for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And he came in, and he was always wanted to train with the best guys that he could and whatever. He bounced around everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
Still bouncing around everywhere.
yeah, and just looking for those opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he came in one day and I triangled the fuck out of him.
Green Hornet-esque?
No, he's not Green Hornet.
Don't put Dr. Tom.
Yeah, don't. How dare you?
Well, he did tell me he had a glazed stick before he showed up.
Well, nothing wrong with glazing your stick.
It's natural.
But yeah, I remember all he kept saying was, "Oh, you're just so strong. You're just so strong."
So flexible.
Like so flexible.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you shut the fuck up. You keep putting one arm in, one arm out. Yeah, and then we met him at AMA, and
He was a punching bag ever since.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what's on your cheat sheet, Pat?
My cheat sheet. I want to get a little bit more in depth with Shorty.
Yeah.
And
Who doesn't?
let's start. let's start all the way back at the beginning. What was your first foray into grappling combat sports?
Well, I started wrestling. You know, I actually had a nice wrestling match against this guy over here, who we recall a little different. The outcome was still the same. I did lose a close match. According to Jim, it was one, I guess, a highlight.
Yeah.
Like, fastest
Oh,
stand up?
Sit out.
Fastest
Yeah.
sit out?
Yeah, I don't think you've ever seen more picturesque.
I don't think
Sit
I was
out.
ready. I think you jumped the
I
gun.
might have jumped the gun.
I think you got to
Hey, man.
caution. Yeah, I definitely think you got to caution.
You got to play that whistle.
Yeah. Yeah, so I started out wrestling, and then I ended up moving to Florida for a little while. Still, following UFC and stuff like that, watching it. And when I came home, a bunch of old high school buddies were training jiu-jitsu at a gym by me, and I kept putting it off, and eventually I ended up going up there one day and ran into a couple of people I knew from the local wrestling scene, and an old, now an old teammate, but a kid that I knew ended up hyperextending my arm very first day of training. And
That was kind of a sign of things
yeah,
to
it was
come
a sign of things to
with
come
Trox, yeah.
with this particular training partner. And I kind of just fell in love with it ever since. I was out for 19 weeks. Had some time to think.
I just have to. You rolled for how long? How long did you do it?
It was my first day.
Yeah, so it was like a half hour. You were in.
The first move that we learned was a sweep from Spider Guard. Day one of
Day
jiu-jitsu.
one.
It was a sweep from Spider Guard. Now, I had no idea, obviously watching fights and stuff, you kind of follow position-wise. I never saw Spider Guard. You don't see a Spider
You don't
Guard
see
play in the
Spider Guard,
UFC.
I don't even
So I was like,
know what Spider Guard is sometimes.
yeah. I was like, what the hell? And,
Is that where you
so
take your legs? No.
yeah. So we learned the move, and then the last 15, 20 minutes, you're allowed to kind of roll. So I ended up, rolling with Troxel and just being more of a straight grappler. I guess I was pretty much kind of holding my own, I would say, and he ended up getting me in an omoplata, and I just naturally rolled out, and he transitioned to an arm bar, but I didn't have time to tap, and then my arm snapped. And then the whole gym was because it was loud, and I had to go to the hospital and stuff like that, and it was right around Christmas time, and I was in a sling, and then
That's a rough
it.
first class.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and he
was.
fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was you fell in love with getting your arm broken.
yeah, yep, and then me and Troxel had
This
tons
was
of memories after that. Tons of memories after. Yep.
My absolute favorite was the spitting in your shirt. That was
Yeah.
One of the best ones I ever saw was he
Soccer kicked me in
yeah,
the head
he
after I subbed him.
he sounds him so he picks him up by the
And he
back and rolls him over and soccer kicked
kicks
him in
me
the back.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
After you subbed him?
I subbed him in a triangle,
Yeah.
and then, he tapped, I let go. He grabs me by my belt and dumps me, backwards.
All the way over.
And then soccer kicks me.
Kicked him.
Kicks me. Yep. And then the one that Tim was talking about is I guess I think I was inside his closed guard and I
Yeah.
sweat in his face
Yeah.
and I guess it went in his mouth. So he just spit in my
no,
face.
but he screamed, ah! And because then I looked over and he grabs your shirt and
Yeah.
just spits in Shorty's shirt and it's what
Yeah.
the fuck did you just do?
Yeah.
Sounds like an awesome training
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
That was the the dichotomy of their relationship.
Yeah.
It was a rather abusive relationship. It started out with like Troxel getting the better of Shorty,
Yeah.
but still kind of abusing him,
Mhm.
and then Shorty getting the better of Troxel. You had that moment where they're kind of right there, and then it's like Shorty's like whop overtakes him, and then there are all those acts of frustration and
Yeah. Fun times. And we're not talking about just like a random kid. He was, like a Ring of Combat champion.
Yeah.
At a time, he was like 7-2.
Yeah.
Like, definitely could have went places if he stuck with it,
Mhm.
Fought at 45 and 55. And,
Beat Jim in wrestling.
twice.
yeah.
Yeah, twice. I did put that. I had to rub it in.
Yeah. So,
Whatever.
I wonder how his sit out was.
I
Better
don't know,
than Jim's.
but I think that
Well, the one time he really didn't beat you.
he didn't beat me, Dan.
Wait, he didn't get his hand raised?
He
at the
did
end?
get his hand
He
raised.
did get his hand
Okay.
raised, but that
I
was
just
all
making sure.
Fellini.
Oh, Fellini, okay.
It wasn't his coach; it was the referee.
Well,
Fellini.
Fellini was standing on the edge of the mat yelling in the friggin' ref's face, and he turns around and,
And-
okay,
and
that's two.
And two coach or the coaches from two different teams, like 4 or 5 guys, were sitting there
Yeah.
yelling on the other side.
Yeah.
So is
but
that
don't-
why
don't
you
get
would
into it.
always liver kick him? And beat
No,
the,
yeah,
beat
that
the
was
piss out
yeah,
of him,
I know.
taking out the
Jim was-
frustrations.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Douchebag.
There's nothing
a
wrong with
What
that.
a douchebag. Did you see
Remember
Amer's
10
calf?
years
Speaking
ago?
of douchebag,
What's that?
Amer's calf.
Yeah, I did see his arms.
Fucking purple. And
Yeah,
he
it's
blamed
beautiful.
you on it.
Of course, he blamed me.
It's beautiful.
Are you saying
Who
you're
else?
not to blame?
I'm totally to blame. That's my job.
That is your job.
That's my
It
job.
looks like
and
you're
you know
pretty damn
what?
good
That's
at it.
his job.
So he can't come in and teach time
Yep.
anymore because he can't walk.
Yeah. He deals with it. He's a tough man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
He's doing jiu-jitsu today, too.
Yeah.
Throwing up that rubber
Amr
guard.
is tough.
Yeah.
He takes it. He can take a licking.
Amer's the man. He's
Walk
always
like
so
an Egyptian.
pumped. I love his classes. Hey, we got a question. Kev Honorspren, a.k.a. Kevin Ingram. Ever since he fooled us on the first one,
Yeah,
I'm not putting up with his bullshit. He wants to know. He wants to know what year you guys wrestled each other, and it was in high school, right?
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore?
Yeah,
I
it was
a
my
freshman.
sophomore year. So that would be
2000,
2000.
Didn't you have in high school? You had a big blonde mop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember it was like
Yeah.
Shorty's
All over
hair
the
would
place.
go all over the
I
place.
had
It was
dreads.
just his fucking
Yeah.
hair. You just see this blonde mop going
Yeah.
crazy. It was just like
That was it.
I remember
Still
watching
the same size, skinny, blonde
yeah.
mop.
Matty Stop Pay you wrestled too.
Yep. I beat on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and the block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Shorty, before you fight, do you watch video? Do you get really in depth on your opponent? Do you? I know Jim and Dan don't really like to watch video.
I mean, I do, but not. I wouldn't say in depth. I'll maybe once or twice their most recent fights, and then more or less just have faith and confidence in the coaching to come up with the game plan, and then go from there. I try not to get too carried away with the video and stuff like that, but eventually I do watch it. I just don't get so hooked. Like I said, I most likely already watched the fight because I kind of keep an eye on guys that are coming up that are in my weight class, for potential matchups and stuff like that. Or, a lot of times with these regional organizations, they ask you, okay, who do you want to fight, even though it's their job. And I've had a lot of issues over the last couple of years where I haven't been able to find opponents. So I have a list of flyweights that I would fight, and I would just give it to the promotion. But here, call any one of these guys, So, I do keep an eye on some of the guys coming up. But as far as, really get, fit on watching the videos, not really.
Not too crazy.
Nah.
Nice. So we talked about your stand-up. Look like it's really come along in that fight. Who have you been working stand-up with?
Well, I've been his punching bag, guys standing next to me, sitting next to me, for the last 2 or 3 fights.
Yeah.
So that's helped my confidence a lot, knowing that if I am fighting somebody as a kickboxer, that they're not going to hit me as hard as him, so
Fuck.
so and even though I know he goes easy, the technique is still there, and when I have somebody like him and some of the other guys that I train with that are high level strikers telling me, good job, and they see an improvement, it helps confidence wise, and just being around these guys competing at the highest level, that's another like big boost. It also helps that if the striking goes to hell, I can fall back on my wrestling. I can fall back on my jiu-jitsu, which I've been trying not to go to as like a panic button, and kind of blend the striking and the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu in as I need it, and not just go out there and be a straight grappler. So
I would just like to point out who cut who 2 weeks before my fight. Just saying.
that wasn't
saying.
on purpose. I believe you headbutted me.
I headbutted your elbow.
Yeah. Yeah. You were spazzing out like a flyweight. I didn't know what to do. Jumping around. It's like, holy.
That's what I feel I have to. Like, I feel that when I go with the smaller guys, I kind of have to fight like a smaller guy. And when I go with the bigger guys in particular, I have to fight like a bigger guy. Like, I can't go with the big guys that I've trained with throughout the years or that we have in here and move around like I would at 55, or like if I was trying to be a 25-pounder and just be all over the place and spazzing out like you guys do.
Yeah.
Because I get bounced around. Like if I spar like a bigger guy, like if I'm going against like a Tyler or something like that, I have to plant my feet and I have to sit down. Otherwise I just get knocked off a
So imagine me when
path.
I'm sitting down and planted and I'm going with guys like you. And then I'm still going bouncing
But
around all
I'm
over the
moving
place.
around. I'm doing the head bob.
Yeah. I know. I tried kicking him. Yeah, no, it's been good. I think that the different style of training partners, even the bigger guys with a lot of control, have helped. And everybody had a big role in this camp, and because I feel like I've had this like never-ending fight camp because of stuff falling through with the UFC, and then fighting for CFFC, and then gym fighting actively over the last couple months, and being here helping him. I felt great going into the fight, just anywhere the fight went, cardio-wise, and we have been doing a lot around stand-up, so I think that definitely helped. Where usually it would be a camp that's mostly grappling and jiu-jitsu based, and this one was really fit on striking, and then going to that wrestling as the second option.
And now you don't just train here at Miller Brothers. You go down to Catone's and you go to Almeida's, right?
Yes.
And how important do you think that is, traveling around? And
I think it's great because a lot of the smaller guys, a lot of the 55 and under, the best guys in the world, I feel train at these camps between Jim, Edson, Marlon, Frankie, all these guys, plus the coaching. You're always having guys pay attention, in every class. So even if, it's an hour and a half travel, you take one thing away that's going to make you a better fighter, it's well worth it, or that one thing, not even maybe a coach, but maybe somebody that is a high-level striker, like a Marlon or Edson, that can just help you just a little bit, make your technique better, or even give you an idea of something to do as far as a setup, helps. And even though I didn't land it in this fight, I've been working on throwing kicks. Jim's been helping me with it. Edson and Marlon gave me some drills that I've been doing over the last couple of months just to be a little more comfortable throwing. And I've been landing a lot in training, so I know that that's another arsenal I have. And everybody keep telling me, you need to throw more kicks. You throw kicks, who cares if they catch your leg and take you down? Then you just submit them on the ground. That's where you want to be. So even having these guys who are at that level in the UFC, giving me that information is like so valuable, you know, and seeing it actually work in training, you know. So it's just great, you know, between the teammates and the coaching, also you know, a lot of the students as well, you know, helping out. Because I bring a very different style of jiu-jitsu even to Ricardo. You know, Ricardo's been like an OG in the MMA and jiu-jitsu world around here.
That's
And
original gangster.
yes. So, some terminology for you. And I even have a very different, you know, style. So we're always picking each other's brains, you know, which is cool, you know. So it's
A
just
brain's
it's
something
very
that's in your
humbling.
head.
What?
It's most of our heads.
What?
A brain.
What about it?
That's what usually most of us have.
I just thought he was telling he had an old grundle.
He's one of the old grundles.
One of those old
Which he has. He's been around forever.
He is right, though. Shorty's first pro fight was November 21st, 2008. And no amateur fights.
No, I did have some.
I could not find them online.
Certain websites only do the pros. But, yeah, it was 4-1. I actually lost my amateur debut, and I was kind of training out of, like, a garage. And I was actually training with one of our training partners now, Melvis. And the person that was kind of running this whole garage-type workout was just trying to push people into fighting. And he's like, I got to fight for you. You'll do great. And I ended up no training, you know, just go straight into this fight at the House of Blues. And I fought a Tiger Showman kid. And I won the first round, and I ended up gassing out, and I lost the second and third, so I ended up losing a decision. And that made me realize I hated losing, you know. So I picked up and found, you know, the closest spot to actually train MMA, not just jiu-jitsu and not just cardio kickboxing. And it turns out that's where Jim and Dan were down at AMA Fight Club, which was in Whippany. So I, you know, made the trip and, you know, ended up turning out, you know, really good for my career at first. And, you know, I learned most of my jiu-jitsu and skill set there, or at least, like, my foundation. So I ended up going on a 4-fight win streak and ended up avenging that loss in as a pro. Ended up armbarring the same kid. So it turned out good.
Nice. Out of all your fights, you've had a bunch now. We're talking, how many fights total?
23, I think.
23. 16 wins.
Not very good at math.
No, I
22,
can't possibly
but-
add this, yeah. More than 20, though. What is, just use big numbers.
Yeah.
65 and 1.
More than 20, less than 30. What do you think your most memorable fight is?
I would definitely have to say against, I believe it was Ricky Garrett. It wasn't so much the actual, like, fighter. It was more about how it came about, because that same kid that hyperextended my arm the first day of training, I was cornering out in Erie, Pennsylvania, him and another fighter, this guy Chris Jones, and we took the like 7-hour car ride out there, and I just fought the week before. It was 9/11, I believe, and that was against the kid that I lost my debut to. I ended up armbarring. So we're out there. We're at weigh-ins, which is at like a little bar / nightclub area, and everybody weighs in. Tim makes weight. His opponent ends up missing weight. We end up negotiating you know, whatever allowance. So in PA at the time, they had same-day weigh-ins. So you would have to weigh in as a pro, and you'd fight 3-4 hours later. So you didn't have that 24 hours to rehydrate like you did in Jersey. So we're at like a Subway eating a sandwich. Of course, I'm having a glass of SoCo. And
At a Subway?
no, Well, I might have been.
I
wanna
wanna
go to that
Bring your own
Subway.
bottle, yeah.
At the weigh-ins,
Bring
at the
your own
weigh-ins, I
bottle
definitely
at
had a
Subway,
couple.
huh?
Yeah,
It was
I
in
might
PA.
have had
You
a
could
flask.
do it in PA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like the Wild West.
especially if you guys came out to Erie, Pennsylvania, right? I might have had a flask at the time. So, we're eating. I get a call from the promoter, and he's asking what we're doing. So, we're just eating. What's going on? He's like,
Drinking SoCo.
Yeah.
yeah,
Drinking SoCo in a Subway.
in a Subway. It might not even been a Subway. It might have been something else. So he goes, we had a guy miss weight. Would you be interested in fighting? And I'm like, well, I don't know if I can make weight. I just, fought. I've been drinking, and I'm eating right now. So he's like, we'll come back. Let's talk about it. So walk up the road, go back to the bar, and I step on the scale, and I was 135. So I just made the 136-pound limit. And so they asked me if I wanted to fight this kid, and I was like, yeah, why not? So 2 hours later, I'm the co-main event of the fight, and ended up choking him out first round. I think like 2 minutes in maybe, and yeah, I don't think if I was sober, I would have took the fight. I really did. Yeah. So when our old manager called us, he said, "Oh, how did Troxel do?" I was like, "Oh, we did great." He's like, "What do you mean we?" I was like, "Well, somebody missed weight. I decided to take a fight." He's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, we won."
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, it was fun. So I got to fight twice in 2 weeks. I guess that's close to like a tournament style, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would say that'd be, yeah, probably the most memorable. That and also getting pulled over and arrested twice on my way to fights.
Yeah.
But that's not really a memorable fight. That's more of the car ride there.
That happened on 2 separate occasions?
2 separate occasions. Make sure you guys pay your fines.
Yeah.
I won both fights, had to pay my brother back both times.
So
Yep.
that's good luck if you
Bail
get
money.
arrested before the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely worked out.
That's a weird mentality. Like Jim taking the Alves fight, he didn't care. And you're in a Subway, they're like, hey, you want to fight somebody? Yeah, no problem. That's a different type of human.
Yeah. Me, it was earlier on in my career, so I don't think it was too bad. For him, I think a lot of it had to do with the location, being part of
Well,
MSG.
Just prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's-
would you take the fight? Right? I mean,
I would, yeah, definitely.
Because you're a
You're
different
prepared.
kind of human. I think it lends itself to
I
a different
the
kind of human.
the way I've always looked at it, because I've taken fights on, I took a fight on a week notice. I took a fight on 8 days. I had the one that switched. That was like, the Nuri fight was like, that was only a week or so. I mean, I was prepared. I was ready to fight. Was supposed to be fighting the week before. But the way I always looked at it is like, as soon as you feel that doubt, then don't do it. I've just always been too stupid to doubt myself.
I think mine was alcohol played a role. I didn't have enough time. It was like, 2 hours, we're starting, so you need to make a decision. No. It was a no-brainer. For me, it was just, why not?
yeah, it wasn't like he wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had just fought.
And there's different ways of looking at it, like you see it a lot now that fighters are
Not taking the fights.
picking fights a bit more, even when and it's worked out for some guys. It definitely has, for some of these guys to be at this point still getting into the UFC with less than 10 fights is crazy.
Yeah, fighting all bums.
Or fighting, and getting that one fight or something like that, But I mean, the way that I always looked at it, and I guess the other guys in here as well, was just fuck it,
Yeah.
because there's only one way to get experience fighting, and that's by actually fighting. And you hit a certain point, and for me it was probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 fights, something like that, 10, 11 fights, where you you finally fucking realize what the hell you're doing. And it's not so much like technique wise. It's just having stepped inside a cage enough times and seen enough things in there to finally like grasp it. Like, holy fuck, I don't have any control. So, fuck it. You know, let's prepare as well as we can, feel as good as we can, and get after it. It's really not that crazy.
It is, and the three of you can't discuss it and come up with a common solution for normal people because none of you are completely normal with that.
No.
And I think it's awesome. But you can see it because you would not say no to any fight. You can see it in Shorty's jiu-jitsu classes because I take Shorty's jiu-jitsu classes. He rolls with anybody, anytime, and I don't think that's normal.
No, he has, doesn't he? He hasn't rolled with me.
So he has some compassion. He has a heart, which I think is good. But as the instructor, you know, I mean, taking short notice fights, but as the instructor, I've never seen you not roll and not roll with anybody, from the biggest guy to the smallest guy to everybody in between. And you guys all have something a little bit different that normal population doesn't have. Dan can ride a motorcycle faster, a dirt bike faster than anybody on the planet until he crashes. And I remember asking him one time, I'm like, dude, what do you think about? Like, how do you ride a dirt bike so fast? And he was like, what do you mean what do I think about? I was like, when you're riding the dirt bike, what's going through your head? He's like, I just think about what I'm doing.
What head?
I'm like, you don't think about, like, crashing or stuff? He's like, no, I just think about what I'm doing that second. That's a different kind of humor.
It's kind of like how you
There's no
describe
consequences.
why a raccoon decides to walk into traffic. You know, I fucking know. It felt good at the time.
Yeah.
Left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot.
It's like I got that quad. I got it.
I wish I could be more like that. I think I can't ride a dirt bike as fast as you. Although if we raced, I think I might finish first because you would have a spectacular crash.
I have to.
Several.
So for Christmas, we got the kids a 50cc Kawasaki, and I have to tell my children that one day Uncle Dan's going to crash it.
You got to sit him down.
But why did Uncle Dan do that? He can't help it. He can't help it, guys. That's what he does. He crashes things. He rides them very fast and recklessly, and sometimes looks spectacular. But most of the time, he breaks them. But Dad, they were unbendable handlebars. Well, Uncle Dan's wrapped a couple pairs of those around his chest before.
Yeah, that is a complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Unbendable. Complete bullshit. It's like, hell yeah, I'm buying the unbendable ones.
After how many sets of bendable ones?
Like, what the hell? They're unbendable.
So, Shorty, for normal people, and I think that you do get a lot of normal people in the fight game, you've had a really hard time getting fights. There's guys that just flat out will not fight you.
Yeah.
What's that been like? How frustrating is that?
Yeah, it's been really frustrating. It's happened in the last couple years. Just trying to get fights, and I feel because the UFC opened up our weight division at 25 that, you know, everybody's goal is to get in. Nobody wants to have a tough fight, though. You know, everybody wants to take the easy fights, get a couple fights against guys that don't really have a record, maybe finish the fight and then get in off of
Celebration.
You know, off of a couple wins, not quality wins. You know, more about quantity.
Yeah, nobody wants to get that loss, have a loss, or have the tough fight where it's like, oh, I'm gonna, you know,
be pushed.
Yeah, be pushed and might lose when they might get the call.
Yeah. So people have been kind of backing away and turning it down. And also promotions are not forcing people to fight that are, you know, under contract and, you know, number one contenders turn out to not be number one contenders. They got to fight again. And some promotions don't want to bring people in because it costs too much money. So then you're still fighting the same guys from the same area over and over, and eventually you run out if you beat everybody, you know. So it's very frustrating, you know.
You're kind of dealing with that right now. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, we could talk about it. I fought for a number one contendership my last fight in February. I won. I was supposed to fight the winner of Sadeko Hanario and Luis Gardino. And Luis Gardino ended up winning. I already beat both of these guys. And, he said he didn't want to fight. He said that that's a fight that should be in the UFC, which I do agree. But we can't make that decision, I mean, if we both, get in the UFC and we fight, then that's great.
I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, me too. But it's not.
That fight should be for a title.
Yeah, that's a 10-grand fight, so that's what we're just gonna hold off. And that's pretty much what he's doing. He wants to get paid to fight me, and no promotion is gonna pay him. No promotion around here pays that money regardless. So I guess he's just kind of sticking to his ground. He hasn't fought since March, I think. So it's going to be going on almost a year since he's fought, So they made up the interim title, which I, just fought the number one guy and won. And now, he doesn't want to fight, Or he's saying he wants more money to fight me. But I even think if they offer him the money, he still won't fight. Because I think he's a guy that's waiting. He was in the UFC. He experienced the UFC money, so he doesn't like fighting for regional money. And another guy that wants a easier fight. I guarantee you if I lost to Lozano, he would have took that fight for free, because stylistically it's a better fight for him, So.
Plus, Lozano hasn't beaten him in the past.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yep.
And there's that element.
Yeah, there's that element. Yep. So, I mean, I don't think that...
You haunt his dreams, Shorty.
Yeah.
You haunt his dreams.
Pig!
I don't think that they're going to fight. To be honest with you, a couple of their champs kind of like picking and choosing, and they don't want to fight the number one contender. The thing is you can't force somebody to fight, so...
Well, not in the cage.
Yeah, not in the cage. But, it is what it is, so I think eventually somebody will come around and I'll get a fight if I don't get the call for the UFC. I'm going to wait a little bit, enjoy the holidays, get back to training come, New Year's, and then, see what CFFC has lined up and keep my fingers crossed to get on that Brooklyn card. Maybe Ian McCall gets hurt or his opponent, being that his last 4 fights have fallen through. So I said it this last fight. I said if I could, if I was a betting guy, which I am, I'd bet that fight's going to fall through, and it did. And again, I think that was literally, the 4th fight that McCall was involved in, that the fight fell through, that I was harassing Sean Shelby. And so, being that it's in my backyard, maybe I'd be lucky to join this guy and fight.
Allegedly.
No, it's on the UFC website.
It's
now.
on the UFC website.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Officially.
It's official.
It's
official.
It's official.
now.
You never know. Because sometimes they'll break it,
Yeah.
and other
then they
times
get
they'll
yelled at.
give it to like the smallest, like
Media outlet.
media outlet there is, and it's like, MMA from Mom's Basement just announced this fight. Because originally when it got announced, it was by some obscure places, and then everybody picked it up and showed that. But yeah, Brooklyn.
So, Jim, who are you
Back-
fighting in Brooklyn? In case our listeners
who am
don't
I
know.
fighting? Oh, Dustin Poirier. Yeah,
Great matchup.
great fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm back in the New York groove.
Now you're back. In the
Now
New
I'm
York
back in the New York groove.
It's time.
Originally, I was just in a New York state of mind.
groove.
So, but it hasn't been a year since I was there.
Yeah. No.
So
So what's your walkout song going to be?
I don't know.
Neil Diamond, Brooklyn Roads?
Probably not.
Why not?
Probably not.
Do it.
Where
do
Brooklyn
it.
at? Where Brook?
Yeah.
Jim
Jim
coming out.
fucking Miller, do it.
Hat sideways.
What about
Chain.
Neil Diamond's your favorite.
Neil Diamond is my favorite.
I think you should go back in the New York groove.
That song pumps me up.
It does.
Yeah,
I love
I mean,
it.
what? 2 or 3 of them went out to friggin'
thing.
Alicia Keys, right? What song was she singing? What the hell
New
was the
York?
name of it?
New York.
New York.
I think it is.
We can't play the YouTube because we'll get censored, but I think we could sing it.
We could definitely sing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's technically satire, so.
So go for it, Pat.
No, but-
Concrete jungles where dreams are made of. It sounds good in my headset singing like that. I can do this.
Doesn't sound good
Yeah,
in mine. Sort of like singing in the shower.
Kind of like that, yeah.
So you're telling me it doesn't sound good when I sing Christmas carols?
Doesn't sound good when you sing any fucking thing.
Get the fuck out of here. I've got a luscious bass voice when I go.
Space.
That's right. Pat loves Christmas music, so I videoed myself a couple times.
He's been harassing me. Him singing Christmas music and pictures of snakes.
Why
Can't
doesn't
even
he
open
have
my
a
own
snake
phone.
mic or something? Singing into a snake's face.
It's a question I ask myself every day.
It could really petrify you.
Never mind.
So speaking about snakes, we'll talk about Pat's
Pee hole?
his beehole. Let's
That's
get into that
That's
story.
an interesting segue.
No,
Speaking
we're
of
talking about worms then. We're not talking about
yeah,
snakes.
Say snakes, thank you, Dan. Anacondas.
Maybe an inchworm.
Baby garter snakes.
He is Irish, you know.
You can't say that.
No, that's it.
That's racist.
It is.
That's a
I'm
weird.
allowed to be racist. I'm Irish.
You're a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't think
I am.
An asshole's
I'm
one.
a friggin' mutt.
Not allowed to say that either.
Why? I'm not allowed to say I'm a
No,
friggin' mutt?
no,
Why not?
no.
I am a mutt.
Anyway,
I'm allowed to say it.
no, you're not. These days, you're not allowed to say anything.
anything. Don't
You're
even
not
say
allowed to
Merry Christmas.
Anything. That's right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Can't even say Happy Holidays for crying out loud.
Crying out
Somebody
loud.
will take
Celebrating
offense to it.
holidays.
I hate holidays.
I hate holidays. I'm triggered by your holidays. Well, I'm just gonna be a fucking douche then.
Can't say that either.
No, I can say douche. I'm gonna call anybody I want a douche.
Your son couldn't say douche.
Yeah, poor guy got in trouble on the
Seriously,
bus.
he did.
Just hanging out
He
and
did
having a
get
good
out of
time.
the bus. Douche.
He didn't say douche.
No, he did say douche. Yeah,
Where'd you
Cassie
get it
says,
from?
Cassie says douche too.
I don't know where you got douche from.
Probably listening to this podcast.
Probably.
Hopefully.
Why is Pop Pop a douche?
Because I've always been.
Yeah, he's always been.
That's just who he is.
That little girl never asked that.
What's that?
Why is Pop Up a douche?
No, she doesn't.
No,
See?
she knows the
Now
answer.
you're
Yeah,
right.
she knows.
Yeah. She doesn't have to ask. They're smart
Yeah,
kids.
they are smart kids. So
So you really want me to tell the snake story?
You got it now.
You-
I
well,
have
you-
to, yeah.
you got to. Pat was-
Segue into it.
Pat
Let's
was
go.
telling us this story before we went on air. So it was just kind of one of those you have to tell that
Yeah.
on air
Super relevant.
kind of things. Yeah, super relevant. We'll just stick it in there. We'll talk about Shorty for a bit. Pat wanted to talk about Shorty's piercings or something like that. And
So
that's a
Pat
segue.
gets to talk about how he doesn't.
That's a segue.
Shorty has piercings.
Pat
What?
will talk that he doesn't pay attention to what the nurses tell him.
Yeah,
That's
is.
it.
It's true.
Listen to the professionals.
yeah.
So tell him your story,
I
Pat,
will. So
on how you didn't listen to the
See,
professionals.
and he's calling us weird people. Like a nurse
Not
tells me
normal.
something, I'm going to listen.
yeah, not in this case. You wouldn't. So I had before my MMA career really took off, I swam in college and I got into triathlons and I was riding the bike a lot. And the bike seats do not lend themselves well to blood flow and prostates. So I got a wicked prostate infection, and they had to check out my prostate a couple times, which not as awesome as you would think it is. And then I got another prostate infection, and they said, "Hey, we're just going to make sure everything's okay. We're going to take a look from the other side." So let's check it out. Let's make sure I'm all right.
It's like, I'm game.
So because they stuck a camera in the back door, which was wide open. That wasn't painful. It was. They did knock me out, but I woke up and I
Had a smile on your face.
I felt like I'd been drinking with Dan again. So they gowned me up, and my beautiful wife had driven me there, and she's like, "All right, I'll be here when you get out." And I go into the room, and they had some instruments of torture laid out on the table, and they had a AA battery. And the woman's like, "Okay, this is the camera." And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, this AA battery is the camera, and we're going to stick it in your urethra." And it's like, "You got to get me the Irish camera. That is never going to fit." And,
You can't say that, Matt.
yeah. No, I can't.
He's
I'm Irish.
Irish.
Yeah.
He's like 100% Irish.
He's
And
Irish.
So she's like, "No, don't worry, you'll be unconscious." And that's an exact quote. And I remember being like, "Well, I'm gonna wake up." And the nurse actually was prepping me, and she's like, "Listen, when you wake up, you're gonna have an urge to urinate. You don't have to urinate. Do not urinate." So they knocked me out, and I woke up, and I really, really, really had to pee. So I called the nurse, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I know you gave me that heads up, but I actually do got to pee." And she was like, "No, you don't have to pee." And Megan was there, and she's like, "I don't think you have to pee." So I was like, "All right." And the drugs were kind of wearing off, and so I called her back a second time, and I was like, "Hey, nurse, I know you said I don't have to urinate, but you're not my body. I really got to urinate." And she's like, "Sir, I promise you do not have to urinate." So she left, and then the third time I called her over, I was like, "Listen, I'm sorry, I don't want to urinate on your sheets, but that's where I'm at." And she kind of tipped her head knowingly. She's like, "Come on, I'll walk you to the bathroom." we walked over to the bathroom, and I remember she kind of held the door, and she looked at me like a man going to the gallows as I walked in, and gave me a smile. And I went, and I stood in front of the toilet, and I relaxed whatever you have to relax to urinate. And it was like molten lava rolled out of my urethra. And I screamed out loud because it caught me so off guard, and it was so painful. And there was actually no urine came out because I did not have to pee. So after I screamed and I lost my balance a little bit, I opened the door, and she had her arms crossed, and she's like, "So?" I was like, "I didn't have to urinate." "I know, sir. Please go sit down." And, that's the story of cameras in my pee hole. The podcast only gets better from here.
Yeah, it only gets better from there.
So, moral of the story: listen to the
You
professional.
should listen to nurses.
I started when I went to the urologist. I started sweating when the nurse started pulling the catheters and stuff out, because then you started looking at all the diagrams.
Mm-hmm.
It was that was after I'd passed the kidney stone, so peed blood, and I'm pretty good with my own blood and stuff like that. But when it comes out your pee hole, it's a little bit unsettling. So when I went to the urologist, I peed in the cup and stuff like that, and then I go back into the room, and she starts laying out all the stuff. I'm like, oh, fuck.
What does that do?
You're looking at the diagram, this big poster on the wall of it's not nothing supposed to go in that way.
As an exit.
Yeah, the other one, but this one,
we can negotiate.
We can negotiate, but that one is strictly an exit. And luckily they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to do anything. But
no, I had to have one for when I had neck surgery.
yeah.
And getting it removed is not cool. Not cool at all. She's like, go.
Hot.
Poor bastards.
Oh, my God.
What?
You poor bastards.
What are you
Why?
talking about?
Yeah, why? Elaborate, please.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Why are you crying about it?
I didn't get anything done.
Oh.
I'm not crying about nothing.
I'm crying about it. It hurt a lot, man.
I was worried about it happening. I mean, not that it's like thin wall tubing.
I pissed blood, but only because I got hit in the
Yeah,
nuts with a
just
snowball.
That must have been a direct shot
Yeah.
if you were actually.
It was after I
pissing
had a
blood.
hernia operation. Yeah, got whacked
Poor
in the-
timing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But I didn't have to have any cameras go anywhere.
that sucks.
Just
Did you choke that person out?
no, I was in some pain. Yeah,
I mean, maybe later. Huh?
yeah. Now that I think about it, I should probably make a little hit list and go back.
You should go back.
You son of a bitch.
Remember me?
Did I already tell the Dan kneeling on me story
I
on the
think so.
podcast?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
Because
Your purple penis.
it didn't turn purple, but
It was close.
he's still on the list. And I've choked him after that.
I'm sure you hit him with liver shots.
That's probably why.
head kicks.
Probably
He's
why I
never
never
kicked me in the head.
No,
Well, he's kicked me, but he's never done anything with it. He doesn't kick very hard.
That's true.
He has kicked me in the
I've
liver.
seen him.
That son of a
There's
bitch.
been people sleeping on the mat after head kicks.
Yeah, they're like tiny guys.
Tiny guys.
Tiny heads?
Tiny
Or
heads.
just
heads.
tiny?
Tiny
Tiny
heads,
guys.
tiny guys.
I mean, they're my height, too. So,
Yeah.
like, I kick him in the head, but it's all toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also have 3 times the head size of those guys.
It's true.
Bigger target or
Bigger target, smaller brain.
Yeah. This just bounces around. It's easy.
greater for impact?
Milleritis. That kind of Milleritis. There's other Milleritises as well.
They itch like crazy.
Yeah. One of the worst Milleritises is the
You know?
Milleritis
You know?
is you know.
You know.
You know.
You know.
But it's the
You know.
making too much food
Yeah.
for an event.
Yeah, what happened to the 60
You can
pounds of
never
mac
make-
and cheese?
Too much
you eat it
fucking
all?
food.
We
How the fuck can you
no,
possibly make
we-
too much
we
food?
made- we ate a lot
He's
of it.
taking offense to
That
this.
shit was good.
The
Yeah.
origin of that particular Milleritis is speaking right now.
Yeah, and he's pissed about it. Yeah. We well, so tomorrow
Well,
night.
you guys don't eat leftovers. That's your fucking
No, that's
problem.
not true. That's not true at all. That is not true at all. It's just that it's like,
Bring that
Okay.
shit here.
okay, I'm gonna.
Nothing like
I'll make,
good tangy,
I'll make some.
slimy spaghetti.
I'll make some caramels. You know, give them out as for the holidays.
You can give me
while I'm
any
wearing my-
scummer.
My holiday sweater.
Did you just
I
call
made-
him a scummer?
Yeah, he called me scummer. I made fucking 280 caramels,
They're really good.
And I didn't
and
get one.
And I
Yeah.
fucking dipped 180 of them. Like, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah, so I'm with you, Dad, because he was like, "Hey, Pat, you want some caramels? Hey, Shorty, you want some caramels?"
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then he walks out. Hey, hey, Dan, you want some
Well,
caramels?
no, well,
Hey,
no,
hey,
back
Dad,
more
you
bags
want some
of
no,
caramels?
beep, 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 Baptist trailer truck up.
All right,
That's
fuck
what
you
you're getting
guys.
as a Christmas present.
Yeah, fuck
So
you
don't
guys.
say anything.
No,
He
you
ain't
know what?
Doesn't
giving
matter.
you one.
Doesn't
what?
mean I can't have one
You're
today.
gonna
Just because I'm getting one
You're getting one Christmas morning.
doesn't mean I
See
can't.
that? I
doesn't mean I
busted
can't
my
have one.
bag. See, you hit something solid here.
That's
Look
right.
at that.
That's
I
right.
destroyed it.
Here, don't waste them. They're pretty good.
Exploded when it hit this muscle.
Yeah.
I gotta bring our levels down. We're way in the red.
Yeah, we are. Caramel's got us peaking.
And if you eat it now, you won't be able to talk for
That's
the
right.
duration of the
Right.
podcast because it's pretty chewy.
I can't talk anyway.
I think another Milleritis is being a complete douchebag. And speaking of that,
I'll take credit for that one, too.
Michael W. Miller was nice enough to.
He wrote a
fourth,
question.
He was nice enough to write in, not a question, a statement to impart his knowledge on us. He said that Irish is not a race. Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Oh, 3 exclamation points.
It's a fucking ethnicity! Exclamation point! Thank you, Michael.
Oh, I think he's triggered. See, Michael is our liberal older brother.
And Mike Pagano's pretty pumped. He heard about food. He's on
Yeah.
his way down.
Hey, there was a bag. It exploded all over the old man's crotch. There was a bag of caramels for you. Unfortunately, now
Jim had to throw
they're
them like
tainted.
a douche.
They're tainted.
Tainted caramel.
No, there are plenty other bags. But yeah, I made, it's like, okay, well, I'll make croquettes. You know, ham croquettes, little deep fried meat pocket of goodness, meat patty, greatest thing on the planet.
And it's deep fried?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably
Is there cheese in it?
no. There's no cheese in it.
Yeah.
So.
You don't. They don't need cheese.
No, they don't need cheese.
I'd like to eat one.
That's a
I think
very
cheese
bold
dipping-
statement to say the greatest thing on the planet. They're very good.
They're the greatest thing on the planet.
They're not the greatest thing on
They're
the
the greatest thing
planet.
on the planet.
No.
What is the greatest thing on the planet?
Are we talking food or just the greatest thing on the
In general.
planet?
You could answer both
Let's
questions.
let's go. No, let's go food.
Well, that's food, too.
Let's keep it at food.
It's also edible.
Greatest,
Stop
I was going to bring it
Greatest
back to
food
the
on the-
last
on
one. It
the
was like,
planet.
remember the harem we were talking about
Yeah.
in the last
Yes.
podcast? Yeah, that could be the greatest thing on the planet.
It's hard to argue
A
it.
harem?
Yeah,
But food-wise,
food wise.
I don't know.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna
Fucking
go. I'm
douche.
gonna. This isn't something you could just like be like, yeah, that's it.
I know
it
what
think
it is.
about it.
I
No,
know
it
what it is. It's
What
that
is it?
fucking potato salad.
No.
I
There
swear to
you
God,
go.
I could
The-
rub one out while eating
No,
it.
no,
That's damn good.
I'm gonna tell you this.
The gorgonzola and
the bacon, yeah.
That's
God,
I'm done-
that's
damn,
no,
it
good.
touches.
the greatest-
It goes
no.
direct to my soul.
The greatest food on the planet cannot be cold.
No,
It cannot be.
Seriously?
It cannot
the
be.
douchebag who just wrote in his sausage dip is
It's
pretty,
pretty
good.
good.
It is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Sausage is a great food.
Yeah.
And that's why these
pretty good.
croquettes are going to be the best. Is I didn't have enough ham, so I put some chorizo in there.
Yeah.
I could be in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But do they have cheese in them?
I could make a cheese dipping sauce, Dan. I could make a Gruyere or a smoked Gouda.
Do you wrap them up? Like you wrap the ham?
No, it's like little bits of ham and you make like a roux and
So it's sort of like a crab cake.
basically, yeah.
Mm.
And then you just
They are delicious.
They sound
Egg
I'm kind
wash.
of hungry
Very
right
good.
now.
but it's like
So
there's
what
going to
is
be
it that you fry? The
there's
ham,
gonna-
or is there a coating, like a
it's
breaded coating?
it's little pieces of ham mixed in with so you cook butter and flour together, making a roux, and then you put milk in there. So it's like this
That's what's actually getting
gelatinous
deep-fried.
stuff, but yeah, with
Got
the
it.
ham inside of it. But then it's got mustard in it and scallions, garlic, and stuff. But I make a double batch, like I always do. Hey, let's up the batch size. So now there's probably going to be 40 fucking croquettes tomorrow for 6 adults. Now, granted, Wyatt Miller is going to eat some, and that asshole, he just ate like $20 worth of Chinese food.
Which is pretty.
We found out today that Angel went for a party or something like that. You know, she's a class mom and was talking to the one teacher's aide, and they're like, "Oh, Wyatt he's so amazing. He'll eat his whole lunch that you pack with him at snack time, and then he'll buy lunch, and then he'll eat his whole lunch, and then he'll get a snack afterward." So Angel's telling me, she's like, because
He's
now
a
they do.
growing boy.
He is a grown boy.
Heavyweight bound.
Yeah. He spends like $5 a day on top of getting a lunch pack for him. It's like, that's amazing, dude. And he's lean as hell.
Yeah.
Keeps working.
Yeah. He's going to be as tall as Jim, though.
I know. It sucks.
Can't be a heavyweight.
It sucks.
Heavyweight bound. That's not
Well,
good.
Sawyer's going to be a heavyweight, but Sawyer's probably still going to be my height.
Sawyer's got your size head. Same size head.
He's got a pretty big dome on him. Cassidy's head is as big as Wyatt's. Yeah, believe it or not.
No, Cassidy's the tiniest thing I've ever seen.
Why it's not very big though?
Wyatt's
His head's
not very
not that big either.
Yeah.
He's got a little round head.
I was playing with Sawyer the other day, and he likes to. He's my. He's like 19 months old, and he's kind of big, you know.
Portly.
He's portly. He's thick. He likes to, like, run after me and stuff like that. So I was like pass blocking him. So I'm like smacking him in the chest. And I like knock him back like a step, and he's giggling and he's coming forward. He weighs as much as Cassidy, and she's a year and a half older than. Cassidy comes running over, and she starts running at me. I do the same exact thing, and I send her fucking flying. She's just so like.
So you're mean.
I am mean. I'm a dick. I'm an abusive father. You know,
Where you get that?
It was just the same thing. I patted her, but she wasn't able to. Since she's longer
Probably get that from your older
and
brother.
thinner, she just went for
Our
it.
older brother is a dick.
He is a dick. He used to
See,
wear.
he's not a douche. He's a dick.
He's a dick. Particularly.
It's a fine line.
That's that, Dan. You're stepping over the edge here. You're stepping over the edge. See, I want to tell you a story, Shorty. Back in high school, our older brother was dating this nice young lady, and they used to wear purple corduroys together on the same day.
No, hey, verify this.
He
Did that
did-
happen,
no.
Pat?
Yes, it
Pat,
happened.
did it
I
happen? Do you
promise
remember that? Do
Yes.
you recall?
Yes.
I do recall.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
hear
yeah,
me?
it's only because you're afraid these guys are going to
No,
kick
I'm
your
not
ass.
at all. Because Michael could kick my ass too. She lived in Fox Hollow, right? Yeah, and they absolutely had the same purple corduroys.
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
Boom.
100%.
I used to hear him walking down the
Who
hallway
else
together.
was that? Okay, I'm going to have to fucking ask. You got Ian's number?
I do. Or
Yeah.
the D's might know.
We'll have
How
to
would
fucking
Diesel-
verify
D's.
this.
Diesel
I
was
don't know.
drunk. He was passing
Well,
out.
Diesel
drunk.
was- yeah.
Fucking-
Diesel was,
Oh, boy.
yeah, Diesel wouldn't remember that.
No.
It's,
He was drinking
if-
Gatorade
if
and vodka.
the three of
Yeah.
us can get together on it, then it's a fact.
So
it's
she
a fact.
But I don't know
wore
about that.
purple corduroy pants.
It was an abusive relationship. I think she commanded him around a little bit,
Oh.
cracked the whip, and said, "You're getting purple corduroys."
Nothing matter with that.
And you're wearing
Hold on
them.
here a
was
second.
getting
I'm married
some.
to your mother.
He was getting
This is
some,
true.
so.
She wore
I
the
understand
pants
that.
and
Not
made
a-
him
not a
wear
problem.
But
the same
mom's not
pants.
like mom's not like, "Hey, Mike, wear your overalls today."
Or maybe
Yeah,
she
she
is.
we're gonna.
Why do you
match.
think I wear my overalls?
We're gonna match.
Well, she doesn't wear overalls.
Well, that's exactly it. If mom
then
made
you don't want to see me in scrubs.
no.
Michael actually just wrote in and he said it's been hard for him to admit it, but it's easier in this format that they did, in fact, have the same pants.
Yes.
Michael, thank you for your honesty.
Finally.
Thank you for your honesty. There you go.
And they were the
And
same.
hold
they
on,
were
that-
the same
now
pair,
we
though.
can,
They,
and now we can
they're
go
both
there. The
women's
best thing in the
corduroys.
world is anything your brother makes, not your ham croquettes.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ham croquettes. Are
Pretty much, Michael
spectacular.
makes some good shit.
He does make some good stuff. He does.
Should have
I
a
would
cook-off.
say
Next time he's
anything.
up, we should have a cook-off.
I would be a judge for that.
Well, yeah,
peach,
yeah.
that'd
We
be all
will
right.
have to do that.
His
we'll have
peach,
to have
he
a
had like a
cook-off.
peach glazed wing, like wing. They were fucking delicious, too. He does make good food.
Well, no,
I would say
I think he'd be the
anything.
only one. He would
I
kick.
wouldn't say
He would
anything.
kick Bobby Flay's ass.
He would kick. Well,
He's the only one of you guys that would kick
Wrestle.
Bobby
Of course
Flay's
he
ass.
would.
You're all good cooks,
And
but
he's
he can improvise.
Well,
See, he can do it. He can
I can
cook
improvise,
on
too.
the fly.
Not
Kenny,
gonna lie,
watch this.
Eat Clean Bro has some wings now.
Yeah.
At part of they have a dirty section, and it's like cheap meals. Fuck,
love
wings
dirty.
are banging.
They're good.
They're good, yeah.
Isn't wings
It's
like,
like-
healthy?
it's like
chicken.
eat,
It's super
eat
healthy.
clean, bro, but not that clean in this section.
Eat dirty, bro.
Is it count if I just order that?
That's how I've been ordering. Yeah, they're good.
Can you do me a favor and make those meatballs, but with like 80-20 as opposed to turkey? What is Pat laughing at? More comments?
No, there's
More comments
nothing-
from Michael?
nothing.
No. You seem to be reading something.
you
Yeah,
have
you're
to-
reading something.
I am,
Come on.
yeah.
No.
Well, I
Fess
just
up,
don't
tech man.
understand. So Michael wrote BJ, and then which I thought
Michael.
weird,
Oh,
their brother, and then he wrote Penn. And maybe it
BJ
was
Penn.
Yeah, maybe
What
it
What
was,
about BJ Penn?
I don't know. He didn't elaborate. That's why I was looking
He's a
at
good
it
cook.
and laughing. And Kevin Ingram said that one of the best things ever were Jim's bacon-wrapped Smokies.
Well, there's a man that knows what he's talking about.
Mike Pagano also suggested that we give the crotch caramel to Bobby.
Kevin Ingram will second that.
Yeah, he will. Yes, he will.
Surprised he's not already here. Crotch caramel?
Crotch caramel. Salty.
It is salted caramel, so it'd probably be overpowering.
It would be.
A little too salty, Jim.
What else do we got on the board, Patrick?
The only other thing that we wanted to talk to Shorty about was he's got a pretty impressive fight career, but he's also got a pretty impressive coaching career going right now. With some of your students are doing pretty big things, winning the Good Fight tournament. You got a couple guys that are kicking some ass.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What do you attribute that to?
Dedication, hard work. Everybody that's competing is in here on a daily basis, and they're just pushing themselves. They're eager to learn. They put in the time. They ask questions, and I just think that because of the atmosphere of how close everybody is, it's not like an uptight where, you come in, you got your head down, and you can't talk, you drill a move, and then you train and you go home. No, like, everybody's friends. We have a good time. People like to hang out after and talk. People like to hang out after and train, asking questions. And they're always actively competing as well, which to me is very important. And we definitely have some studs, and I think it's just going to kind of keep folding over, and we're going to have more people coming in, and sign-ups have been great. Classes have been great. The jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. Everybody's just kind of coming together, and it's awesome, So I'm excited. And we have some amateur fighters with fights booked coming up in February, waiting on a couple more. And I think as a as a team in 2016 we went 14-2, 15-2 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, we did pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. I love coming in and teaching. I'm never forced to, get up and be like, I'm going to work. I always love being here, even if I'm not working, whether it's training or just hanging out. And I feel like that's really important. Where a lot of people are in a rush to get out of their job or, showing up late. Like I just enjoy every bit of it. The students, the staff, obviously the bosses and stuff like that. It's just a nice, tight family. Other than this.
Other than the manager.
Manager.
He's got to deal with some stupid comment.
Yeah.
I think you're being a little bit modest, and I think that maybe some of it comes from that you do love it, but you really take time to break it down. Like, it's not just, hey, what did Shorty think of today? There's a curriculum. You keep a notebook, and it makes sense. It progresses through the week. There's, a side control. You put a ton of thought into it.
Except when I cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I have coverage, they kind of go all over the
They
place.
don't stick to your curriculum.
No, but they are very good at a guillotine. So, it's also trial and error, from training. When I started training at a couple places, like I said, the first day of my jiu-jitsu was spider guard, not knowing what any other type of guard was, or, if I didn't follow, say, fighting, and just coming off the street for self-defense, and my first day is spider guard. Like, to me, that's something that's a little more advanced, And then at other schools where it's just like, oh, this is on my mind today. This is what I'm going to show. And then sometimes you leave out a lot of, basic fundamentals because the fundamentals weren't on your mind for the first 9 weeks, So, from training other places and also training under great people and still training under great people, I've kind of, come up with a format and a curriculum and stuff like that. And I think also when I was teaching kids, it helped out a lot breaking things down because not everybody gets it where, you can just explain it in a certain way. Some people, they need hands-on, or some people need it explained and broken down a little easier. And if you can break down, arm bar to triangle to a normal plata to a 6 or 7-year-old, then it's going to be cake for, adult to pick it up. So I think that helps as well when it comes to being a good coach and a good professor. Plus, I'm still taking classes. I'm not just a teacher. Like, I don't just take the knowledge I've learned over the last, 7 or 8 years, and that's it. I'm still learning new moves on a weekly, daily basis, and I'm still actively competing. I'm still training with the best guys in the world, So I think that helps out a lot, too, where a lot of jiu-jitsu professors, they don't train with their students, and they also kind of hit that level of they're just idling as far as this is what they learned and that's it, where I'm still constantly evolving.
That's a big thing to me.
Yeah.
Is you're evolving your game.
Yeah.
You're always learning new things, so correcting things or coming back and just seeing a new variation on something.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think you bring something new to the table, or just bring something to the table where it's like, okay, it's never stale.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. It's never like at this place. It's never a stale curriculum.
Yeah.
There's always evolving, and appreciate that.
Yeah, that's great because if I'm gonna get bored, I can imagine other people. So, I always want to keep changing up, even if it's the warm up. I don't want it just to fall into that same flow of, okay, this is how it's going to be. You come in, you have a warm-up to do, but you don't know what the warm-up's going to consist of. It could be different drills, whether it's takedowns, and, I always like kind of changing it up, and I think that's a big thing is to keep everybody excited about being here, because, again, it is customer service. We have a product that we're selling, which is jiu-jitsu, and if people are coming and they're not interested, they're going to go elsewhere, so it's super important to keep everybody happy and keep them, interested, involved, and not just feel like they're just coming in and not getting what they want. So.
Employee of the month.
You
get another bag of caramels.
Brown-nosed bastard.
Another bag of caramels for this guy.
I'll take the Crocs caramel, please. Extra salt.
Hey, No Talk used to say brown nose.
Oh boy. Well, on that note, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. No. What
Ask
question?
the shady ass cracker if that's S is racist or S. What is it?
What?
Yeah, too much.
How many beers have you had tonight?
No, I can't pronounce it.
Ethnicity?
Yeah.
Give it another shot.
No, you say
Spell it out.
That'd even worse.
Yeah.
So is what? I don't even know what you're trying to
Sound
say.
it out.
the shady ass cracker.
I know.
He
Shady-ass
commented on
Who is the
Wait,
shit?
a rap video?
Michael.
or
Oh.
race. I want to know whether that's
It's funny
race.
hearing him say
What? I
shady
don't know.
ass
He
cracker.
said BJ Penn for some reason, but
I don't know that.
I think Michael's drunk.
Yeah, probably.
But probably not as
It's-
drunk as you are right now, you douche.
Drunk douche. I just can't pronounce it.
So on that weird, awkward note,
Why is that a weird, awkward note?
because you brought up shady ass crackers and ethnethin something.
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity.
There you go.
See, I'm
I can't say-
I'm the one with the speech impediment. Thank you for tuning into the Hands-On Podcast. I'm Jim Miller, Dan Miller, Pat McGurn, Mike Miller, Sean Santella. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Happy holiday.
everyone.
Ugly sweater.